It's Max, Lunar Replicas, and I'm here with Patrick, the Warbirds of Glory Museum, which they're restoring the B-25 Sandbar Mitchell, which we'll take a look at in just a second. But this is an incredible project just outside of Detroit, and something that we're kind of involved with through some of the other reproduction stuff that we're doing. And it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, Max, it's awesome. Yeah, we met at
cool.
World War II weekend, and I'm glad you've been able to come up here and actually finally see our shop.
It's amazing, truly amazing. I mean, we've been here for like an hour, and I feel like I'd be here for days.
Oh yeah, I could go on for hours and hours on end. But basically, we have a B-25 we recovered out of Alaska in 2013. It crashed up there June 27th of 1969. We have a very unique program because it's actually students that are actually involved with restoring this airplane back to flying condition.
That's amazing. It's so cool. Can you show us around the museum just for a second?
Really quick, so here's our fully rebuilt instrument panel. Now Sandbar Mitchell's instrument panel was basically removed from the aircraft. So we took the original CAD drawings, the original drawings converted into CAD, and our students went ahead and actually cut this panel out on our CNCs. We resourced all the original instruments and put it back together.
And stuff, man.
But what's really cool about it is if you come over here and zoom in here, you'll see in the back there's the signature here. So Mary Lou White was a Rosie the Riveter that worked on every B-25J that came out of the Kansas plant. And Rosie was Mary was in her late 90s. And sadly, we actually just lost her about a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Mary's job was to solder the wires in the back of these 3 indicator lights on the panel. And we actually surprised Mary, and we took this panel down to Kansas, and Mary actually soldered those wires.
No kidding.
So she got to help restore an airplane she originally built back in the 40s.
That's amazing.
So then, come through here, we have our original North American toolbox, our fully operational Norton bomb sight. We have all the radio gear for the B-25. This is actually everything that went in the aircraft. Really cool is this radio here, which is the Friend or Foe IFF. It is the only piece of radio gear in the B-25 or in any Allied bomber that actually had a grenade in it. So it was the one piece of equipment they did not want besides like the bomb sight getting in the hands of the Axis powers.
Top secret.
Top secret. So basically the pilot had the option of basically pushing these 2 buttons here, which would basically blow the radio up, or it had the impact switch in the airplane. But one of the things is...
so if the plane went down, it would automatically...
blow the radio up. Well, most of these radios are actually very hard to come by. What makes it even more rare is the fact that we actually have...
live grenade in it?
The grenade.
No kidding.
Now this is inert. There's no actual explosive in it, but it is the brass destructor with the actual mount, which will be nice because we're actually going to reproduce these for other restorations. The guys with Lucky 13, the B-17, they're actually first in line to get one of these when we do make it for their radio equipment. So long story short, we're rebuilding our airplane to honor this crew that was lost over Italy. They basically bailed out of the airplane. 3 of the crew members, they were all captured actually, but 3 of them were actually executed by the SS for having over 41 missions. So we have worked with the families of the crew members to let them know about the restoration and what we're doing. Some of the parts that you see here are actually from the wreckage from the real 8Z, but most importantly on that mannequin there, all the medals that you see and what's in there, those are actually George Hammond, the Bombardier's medals, who was executed by the SS. And that picture was actually painted of him when their family learned that he was missing in combat.
March 20th was when they were captured?
Yeah, 45.
So less than a month before the end of the war.
And then this here, we have many books like this. And this is actually all the original letters. These are actually George Hammond's pictures from flying school. But these are all the original letters and correspondence from the military and the families. But this one right here is notifying them that their son is missing in action. And I mean, they even kept the envelope that it came in. Yeah. So we were entrusted with the families to be able to have all these to tell the story of 8Z and the crew.
April 16th. That was only like a week or so after, 2 weeks after they were captured.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Was that one of the Stalag Lufts, or was it?
It was the Bizano. I'm saying that wrong. Camp that they were at. So this is actually one of the books that actually shows the trip where Ron and them actually went up to the site and left the
shroud on the 50 cal.
Yep, and that's actually the waistcoat or 50 cal shroud right there. There's the so there was a group in Italy that we worked with that was a national historical group there that actually went with us when they did the actual to the site, and they left basically a monument up there that talks about the 8Z crew. And then this is just some of the stuff in here. That was Mr. Pio, who I was talking about earlier, who would make stuff as a sausage press they made off a B-25 cylinder.
Wow.
Here's an article that ran in the local newspaper and that kind of stuff. But that's Ron, our historian, and just some of the other.
And you reached out to this just because it had 8Z on the tail when it was a fire bomber
Yes.
in Canada.
Yep, and that's when it started the whole process of learning about the 8Z.
What an onion to peel back and to find this stuff, which is, I mean, these guys have been forgotten for 75 years, you know. But what an honor that Sandbar Mitchell doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this, but there is that thread to another B-25, and you're preserving their history too.
And having actual parts from their airplane being able to be put back into Sandbar.
Yeah, this actually the cylinder head there.
This piece is actually one of my favorite pieces we have from 8Z, because you can see the original green that was used by the 488th. But most importantly are these two flak patches that were put on the airplane in combat. And
because they'd patch them up between missions.
Exactly.
These crew chiefs
so
do an amazing job.
she had a pretty large number of missions on her before she was actually lost. So she actually was carrying 22 of these M47 white phosphorus bombs. So we actually went ahead and found an original M47 casing, and actually a company out of California went ahead and reproduced it for us, both short fin and long fin. We actually went ahead and all the bomb crates that they actually came in were reproduced. Now, once again, Ron Asman, our historian, went and did all the work on this, but basically found like the actual war surplus. Got a lot of daisy chain these in the bomb bay. So basically, this would be up in the bomb shackle, and then you could basically hang
3 or 4 more
bombs on them. So that way, when you were dropping, because they were air burst bombs.
Yep.
So why don't we go run out here really quick, and we'll just run through the shop. This is our full restoration of the B-25. What you see here is our fixture that has the whole bomb bay section in it. That's our current project right now. When Sandbar was actually on the Sandbar from the accident, most of the damage was actually done to this section of aircraft, because there was a 1,000-gallon tank in here for fire suppression, and when that basically dug down into the Sandbar, it basically ripped it through the side and ripped this whole portion apart. So basically everything in here essentially will be new when it's all said and done. The original top section someone cut off. We do not know what happened to it, but we have to basically go through and reconstruct it. So what we do is we basically take our CAD models, we cut them out first out of basically 1/8-inch MDF material to make sure that everything is correct before we go ahead and cut it out of the expensive aluminum. So this is the project here. These are the main wing spars to the B-25. These have been completely gone through. We've had to do non-destructive testing to make sure that there was nothing that was damaged on it from the actual landing accident. And basically got a clean bill of health. So these are going back together.
I love also that you are copying the original stamping and stuff on the inside. No one's ever going to see this until they do a tank inspection or something like that.
And it's
This is exactly how they were stamped originally from the factory, Alcoa aluminum.
And one thing Max knows about is we actually have another B-25 that was part of the Russian Lend-Lease program that we recovered out of Nome that was there for over 70 years. And it is an untouched time capsule. And that's actually what we're using is our benchmark to restore this. That is our example on how North American actually painted everything, assembled everything. Because when these were sold after the war surplus and modified for fire suppression bombers, they basically went ahead and they gutted the airplanes out. They just painted them, interior green, and that was it. So a lot of that original history, like, hey, this was bare aluminum. This was, these rivets weren't painted from the factory. So you can actually see how the assemblies were put together and then assembled as a whole.
So this will look and feel inside and out
like a brand new B-25.
1943 at the North American.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. And then this is our fully functioning restored upper Bendix turret. This was a project that we completed last year. Everything in the airplane is going to work, all the turrets, all the radio gear. We're very fortunate that we have both, not only the upper turret, but we have the rear turret as well, fully restored and operational. You could technically put 2 M2s in this, and she would fully fire. Not only would she fire, but all the fire interrupter system would actually work, so you would not actually shoot the tail off of the B-25.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I assume that was just sort of like a die cutout, and it would just interrupt.
Yeah, it's basically under this bell here. There's actually a drum in here that actually has the shape of the B-25. So you see both verticals. You see the gunner's compartment. You see the prop arcs, and then there's two of those, and they're offset each other, one for the left and right gun. And there's basically 3 switches on a lever that basically moves up and down on them depending on where the position of the gun are, and all it does is basically kills the electronic firing solenoids.
Yeah. Something discovered in World War I, and they're still
Yeah.
accounting for it in World War II.
But it's all the attention to details, like with our control yokes over this way, you know, like all the way to all the original. I mean, so even though the airplane was built by North American, there was a lot of stuff in there that was called a GFE, government furnished part. So things like these gun buttons, the rheostats, the lights, that's all government furnished. So it's fun treasure hunt trying to find some of the stuff that you don't think exists, but believe it or not, you can find on someone's shelf. So we found the original gun button to fire the Ford 50 cal in the nose, or the cheek packs. We have the pilot's bomb torpedo, they say, release, because once again, it was used not only for bombers, but it could be in a torpedo bomber as well. And these lights are the actual incandescent lights to make the panel actually glow, and the exciters for them, everything will work.
So. I know Guide Lamp, I think, was one of the big companies, which was actually a division of Ford or something. It's Ford or General Motors.
Yeah.
There was a lot of parts that were made by automotive manufacturers, and having this project in Detroit's a really neat.
Yeah.
In addition to Willow Warren, where they built B-24s, Ford would build B-24s and stuff. But
so I think actually on this casting, if you zoom in, let me see, because I think it's on one of these. Is it on the side?
That's an original casting?
Yeah, these are the original castings. I'm trying to figure out which one, because some of these I have I'm just trying to think of where they're at, that actually have the Chevy bow tie on it. So there was a lot of, GM built parts, the castings. Fisher Body did the glass noses. They did these, and it's actually, let's see if I can grab one of these over here. There's, if you look on, I'll step up on here. If you look on this piece right here, you can see the Fisher Body inspector stamp. But once again, this is like the stuff that is lost in a lot of the B-25s. So the different, different inspector stamps they had, and they had the little Fisher Body stamps with the inspector number on them. So we went ahead and they actually recreated all these stamps.
Fisher, a division of General Motors.
Yep.
They would build Cadillacs and Chevys and stuff like that. It's interesting too, is before World War II, a lot of Fisher Coachworks was wood. I mean, it was they were wooden bodies and stuff. So they were literally building aircraft, parts in shops that had been building wooden, Coachworks and stuff prior. And then of course post-war they did all of the amazing, the Chevy Bel Air and stuff like that. That was all Fisher. Well, this is incredible. We've taken up a lot of your time here, but
awesome, Max. I'm glad you guys have been able to come up and see what we're doing and and tour the museum. So,
well,
if anybody's interested, we have Facebook, so definitely look us up, Warbirds of Glory Museum. Give us a like. Our website's warbirdsofglory.org. We have an awesome gift shop, and we are a 501c3, so we are completely supported by public funding. So, encourage you guys to go there, make a donation, help support this project.
Well, thanks so much.
Thanks, Max. Appreciate it.